order for you to move on to the next chapter, you need to close that chapter. 2022 was a wild ride. Hey my beautiful YouTube family, Abby here, and I want to tell you that you, my friend, are a child of God. Hey guys, what's up? It's Abby. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, my reflection on 2022, kind of just going over each month. And the second part of the video is what I learned in 2022. First of all, I hope you guys enjoyed Vlogmas. It was such a journey. I totally didn't finish it, but you're gonna see like a big finale vlog. You guys will see it in the next video. However, I wanted to record today because it's the last day of 2022 and I feel like we should just reflect. If you guys like this video, keep on watching, get popcorn, get ready. If you guys want to reflect with me, let's reflect together. Keep saying reflect. So without further ado, let's roll that intro clip. Fade to black. So January, I was on a huge workout high, you know, beginning of the year, let's work out, let's get our life together. The second big thing that happened that month is I bought these backdrops and we were trying to put it up. So it was like this huge mission, but we got them up in my studio, which is actually super cool. And it's like a gray and a yellowish background. So we're doing that just for photo shoots and stuff like that. I got the chance to do that for my business and kind of invest in my business in the beginning of the year. So I was very motivated, very, you know, yes, girl boss here. So January for me, my mental health was at a 10. I think I was hype, excited for the new year, and it was great. Incoming February, the month of love. So I went on a girls trip to Orlando. I went with Kathy and Emily, so shout out to you guys if you guys are watching it. I love you guys so much. We went to Islands of Adventure for a day. We basically went there at 4 p.m., which is a little late, but it was actually fun. And then we got to go to this brunch place the next day and take pictures and just be there together and just enjoy each other's company. Had Valentine's Day, which was actually really great. My mental health during that month was, I would say like a 9.5, 10. I was very happy. I also worked, February working hardworking gal. So March was a very normal month for me. It was I worked out a bit, I was working, we had like a soccer tournament at our job, so it was a lot of fun and it was just like a normal month. Nothing crazy happened, nothing insane. I guess in this time, I kind of stopped doing my business and things like that. I wasn't really motivated and stuff, so my mental health was about like a 9? Yeah, 9 or 8. 8. So like as you see, still slowly going down. So April, I think the 1st or 2nd of April, I felt like my mental health was going lower in that aspect. I took a mental health trip to Tampa to visit my friend, and we kind of just went, talked things out, and it was a great trip. I left the trip feeling great mentally and just asking God for clarity in a lot of things, and it was a beautiful trip, and just being there, like seeing the waters and stuff, and Tampa is a beautiful place. And then after my trip, some things happened in my personal life, which was really rough that I had to deal with. My mental health was probably like a 2. So I would say like a 2 or a 3. Your girl was not at her best at all. I felt like I was more of a machine, and I was kind of doing things mechanically, like, okay, waking up, going to work, going back home, dealing with my emotions. So it was just a very hard month for me. I also forgot in April that I did a sozo for the first time. 10 out of 10 experience. It was a great experience for me. May, I had very intentional time with friends. I was very intentional with hanging out with people because I felt like being alone was hard for me. So I kind of just wanted to do things like go to the beach with my friends, or, you know, have intentional conversations with close friends. Found out that my best friend's pregnant, and so she like told me.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're pregnant! Oh my God!
And I got to capture her videos her photos pretty much the whole way through the pregnancy. So if you guys want to see that, go to Life Films, you guys can check that out. but it was just such a beautiful experience to be able to announce it, be like her personal photographer. I don't know, it was really cool experience. Also, shout out to Inspiration Bracelets. They gave me this bracelet for promotion maybe like a while ago in like May, and I just remember how intentional this was for me. As I was going through everything in my personal life, I kind of just took that time to look at the bracelet and say, you know what, I'm gonna choose joy. I'm gonna choose joy in this moment. So my mental health in May, or in June, I worked and basically we had a conference. We had the School of the Supernatural Ministry. We had that. I was editing pretty much the whole time. And then that time I barely vlogged, or I barely, posted on YouTube. I was just not feeling it, So my mental health in June was a 4.55. Live, I had this moment where I was speaking to one of my coworkers and I was like, we need webcast volunteers, and it was my coworker, and he kind of was like, what are you gonna do about it? And I told him, I was like, give me a second, I'm gonna pray. So I went home that night in June. I prayed and I was like, God, we need webcast volunteers, because it was just me, my coworker, and our one volunteer, and she like handled it like a G, but I knew conferences were coming up and things, and we just needed help, honestly. So the Holy Spirit gave me two things. He told me, he was like, number one, post on Instagram, just like asking people if they're available. And number two, he said, post this day in the life video on Instagram. So I was like, okay. I posted those things and we got a bunch of volunteers coming in, and now they're like family and I love them so much. They're like my kids. And I went to Washington. So I went to Washington for my friend Kathy. So they had a conference up there, and then they wanted me to just pray for the youth and be there for them. So I got the chance to do a mini workshop, nothing too crazy, but I got to speak to them and teach them a little bit about media. I got to travel and sightsee all over Washington. Like, her family is the best. They literally took me under their wing and they treated me like a 10 out of 10 princess. My mental health was like a 6 in July, 6 or 7. I think in that trip, like, a lot of things were like stirring up in my spirit. So now going into August, we had Remnant Conference, Girl Talk at our church, and we had my mom's birthday. So I got to spoil my mama for her birthday. I got to take her to the Lapis spa, because I think July, August, or September is spa month. And Remnant Conference was a good conference. So shout out to all my webcast volunteers, all of our webcast volunteers that got to help us and everything. You guys helped me carry the burden and run the show and not cry. So that is a plus for me. My mental health in August, I think it was going back to a 7.58. Going on to September. So in September, I just decided to be this go-getter girl, and I was like, you know what, queen energy, why don't I take a solo trip for my birthday? So your girl took a solo trip to LA, and you guys can watch that video there. As you guys saw in that video, I kind of just went around LA and I did the things, went through stuff, had a lot of healing moments. I felt like from April to September, I was kind of just so engulfed with work and so engulfed with like fast running that I didn't have time to fully process my emotions or fully process what I was going through in the moment. So my LA trip kind of was a quiet trip where I intentionally spent time alone to fight those quote-unquote demons. God really healed a lot of things inside of me in that trip. So it was a very beautiful and intentional trip with God. I think if I do that thing on Instagram, like your eras, that was like my solo baddie, like traveling era. Right after I got back from my solo trip, I came back and Cap Conference kind of just me in the face, so it was a crazy conference. But again, shout out to our webcast volunteers for always showing up. You guys are the OG. It was pretty awesome. It was a lot for that conference. I remember just being up to here with stress, but again, I didn't cry. I almost did, but I didn't cry. And it was just so nice to be able to bring the team and help with the online conference again. So it was a beautiful experience. Also, my mental health in September was like a 9, I went to an 8. And then November was Jen's wedding. So it was a beautiful wedding. You guys saw that vlog too, but there's a vlog there. But we went up to Orlando. We stayed in this beautiful cabin with some of my coworkers and some of my friends. We got to stay there. It was so much fun, crazy, but it was a good time. In November, I think I was also at an 8, but like, you know, sometimes things creep you up and stuff. And then in December, I was working, and then I got on vacation. So I know it sounds crazy, but I got this opportunity to go to Boston to be able to shoot a wedding. So I got to shoot my friend's wedding, so Steph and John's wedding. I think it was like a very emotional wedding because it was very beautiful. I love Steph so much, so I was just bawling in her wedding. I think me and my friend that went, we kind of were just dealing with a lot of emotions. You know, the presence of God was there, and then right after I went to Orlando with my sister, with our family. So I went there to spend Christmas with them, and it was a very spontaneous trip, but I enjoyed the time to be able to rest. After that, I came back home, I legit slept. I finished, finally, the summer I turned pretty. I finished the first book and the second book, and now I'm on the third book. It feels so good to read. And then December, my mental health was like, it was at a 4. I felt like a spirit of depression, but I felt it come over me, and I just got really emotional this month. And obviously I know it's because of the holidays. You see everybody all booed up, you see all the things, and you're like, oh my God. Now today, here I am, December 30th, 31st, I am making this video for you guys. Usually I don't complain, and I don't like to complain about anything, but I don't know if this has been with you guys too, but this year has been very hard for me. Like, it was a very, very hard year emotionally. There was just some things that I was not at my best. For today, I didn't feel like tomorrow was New Year's. I was kind of running this whole year, and for me to be able to stop and reflect and to say what I feel, to say how I'm feeling for the new year is kind of crazy. What am I expecting for 2023? I am expecting for it to be a big year, a very faith-based year. Excited, I'm very nervous, but I know that God is doing a lot. That is my 2022 recap. Now here are things that I've learned in 2022. So the first thing that I learned, never settle for less. I think that explains itself, but this year taught me a lot on how to value myself and how to not settle for things. So I've learned to say no to a lot of things, which was very hard for me to do before. Second thing that I learned this year was to trust the process. What I mean trust the process, I mean trust the process, because everything in your life has a process, a beginning, middle, and end. I think I was at a point where I told myself, I just want to be healed, I just want to be okay, I just want to move on, but God kind of stopped me and told me, like, no, you need to go through your process and you need to trust that I have you. Romans 8:28, like, God will work everything together for his good. And I remember I also watched this video from Leo actually, and he was just saying, like, you don't need closure. I feel like in this video I'm making that conscious decision to shut everything in 2022 and kind of just close that door with this video. And in 2023 I'm opening up a new door for a new season. Don't cry. Yeah, I want to close the door. Third thing that I learned in this year is that healing takes time. I know that some of you guys watching have dealt with a heartbreak. You guys have dealt with many things in your life that you guys have dealt with, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental health, whatever it is that you guys have dealt with. Be intentional. Be intentional with your healing and be intentional with God. So the fourth tip that I learned is to go easy on yourself. So go easy on me, babe. I can't sing. Go easy on yourself and be easy on yourself. Give yourself grace. Cry, let it out, and then you move on. The next thing that I learned in 2022 is that you can't move on unless you're completely healed. In order for you to move on to the next chapter, you need to close that chapter. So 2022, we're closing this chapter, and 2023, we're opening up a new chapter. Get it? Because I'm ready now. It's exciting, you know, deal with everything that you need to now, tonight, today, or even when you're watching this video, if this video gives you that conviction to check yourself and just be like, hey, what have I been holding on to in this year that I need to let go of? I challenge you guys to look within yourself and to reflect and to deal with the baggage, deal with things, because you can't fully move on to the next thing unless you've dealt with yourself. The next tip is find community of people, your group. So for me, I think community is a beautiful thing, and find your group, find your circle, find your people. Literally in my hand, I can have a count, like a handful of people that are close to me, because guys, when you get older, this is pretty much all you need. If you have one or two great friends, stick with them. Second to last one is don't ever take for granted where you are, and live every season to its fullest potential. Discern your seasons. Discern the seasons you're in, because you're not going to be in this one again. So I love this tip, because if you're in a hard season right now, enjoy it. Like, live up that season. I think my mentor said this once. She said, if you have a friend that's supposed to be in your life for 3 months or 3 years, like, you know the season that they're supposed to be in, so you're gonna live it up in that season, and you're gonna be with them and treasure them with all that you are. So when they leave, you're not gonna get hurt. Why? Because you discern the season that they're supposed to be in your life. So if you can do that with friends, why not doing that with yourself? And like, figure out, hey, what season am I in? So last but not least, my biggest tip is the one that I love, is God and your family will have your back. Family, ride or die, at the gene, mom, puppy, dad, like Alma, like family, you guys are amazing. I love you guys so much. My mom has been my rock this year, and she has helped me a lot through my crap, and kind of just being like, get up, keep going. Like, there is nothing more powerful than a praying mom. So mom, I love you. God, I'm just so grateful for this year, and I'm grateful for the tough parts. I'm grateful for the best parts, and I'm so ready to close this chapter, and it's gonna be a good year. So I know 2023 has a lot of promise in store. I know 2023 has a lot of fulfillment that is gonna happen, and I know that God's promises are yes and amen. So I'm ready. So with that being said, I'm gonna end the video here. So guys, if you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. I feel the presence of God. Woo! You know, God just wants to like be with you. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys feel it too, but I'm like, wow, okay. I need to go. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media, will be linked down below. Follow me on Life Films, Purity Movement, Appster7. Follow me on all my social media. It'll be right here. Big things are coming in 2023. So 2022, we're closing this chapter. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.